Hey losers, I'm Coral, welcome back to my channel. I'm doing this thing today where I tell you about the horror books that are on my radar for the coming months. This is going to be for the first half of the year, so January through June. And listen, you're going to look at this list and you're going to say, but what about, but what about, but what about? And I would like to hear about, you know, the things that are on your radar as well, but like, I can only talk about so many books in one video, and so I have had to narrow this down to like things that I'm really looking forward to, like things that I'm probably going to buy and all that. But like I said, if there's something you think I've missed, go ahead and let me know. Anyways, here's my fucking list. I'm gonna be going over them by month, but I have not sorted them by date. So for most of these, I'm just going to be going over a short synopsis. For a lot of them, there are like paragraphs long synopsises, but like I said, I only have so much time to film something like this. But first on my list here is Bad Cree by Jessica Johns. This is actually one I have an arc of that I really need to get to. This comes out in January, of course. And this is about a young Cree woman who has had a traumatic past experience, and she goes on a journey of self-discovery. It says that ultimately forces her to confront the toll of a legacy of violence on her family, her community, and the land they call home. So this is a book by an Indigenous author about an Indigenous character. I believe they mention Alberta, so that makes me believe, obviously, you know, Canada. And yeah, it looks good. I do love the cover of this. It's extra woodsy spooky. Then we have, of course, How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. This comes out in January as well. And this is about a pair of siblings whose parents have passed away. They are left their parents' home and they want to sell it. However, it is haunted. Oh boy, this sounds like such a perfectly Grady Hendrix book. I can't wait to read it. He might be my favorite author. I don't know. People ask me and sometimes I say him. So he's an insta-buy author for sure. Next up is All Hallows by Christopher Golden. This is another January release. This sounds really cool. It takes place in 1984, it says, and on Halloween night, there are a group of kids who are walking through the neighborhood, but they aren't kids who belong in the neighborhood. They're wearing these faded vintage costumes. They seem terrified, and they're telling the other children to help keep them safe from the cunning man. And like, are the local kids going to band together and protect them? I don't know. This sounds really good. I feel like Christopher Golden, it's kind of hit or miss for me, but I do enjoy like the plots of his stories. It's just that like sometimes I don't really love the execution, but this one looks fun. I mean, I'm going to try it out. I love the cover. It's about Halloween. It's about kids helping kids, which is something I love. It takes place in the 80s. I don't know. Are we tired of 80s stuff yet? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Next in January is episode 13 by Craig DiLouie. You might know him from books such as Crimson... Wait, no, not Crimson Peak, something Peak. I don't know. Oh, fuck. Suffer the Children for sure. And what's the other one? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Now I just feel stupid. But, oh no, Children of Red Peak. That's why I was thinking Crimson Peak. Oh my god. My brain is a mess today. Anyways, this book contains one of my absolute favorite tropes, which is fake documentary, right? So this is about a ghost hunting reality TV show, and they are filming their 13th episode, which they've been saying like, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. They get access to this famously haunted paranormal research foundation. It's like this creepy mansion where bizarre experiments took place in the 1970s. It says undoubtedly haunted. But, you know, the crew learns that the ghosts might be too real, which is the best, and I love it. Also in January is a book that actually, this is like a reprint. I think. It's coming out through Nightfire, but it was actually released in 2021 by Cypher Press, but I just could not find a copy of it. This is Tell Me I'm Worthless by Alison Rumfitt. This is about a young woman named Alice who, it says 3 years ago, she went to a abandoned house with her friends, and since then, that night has haunted her, and she has kind of had a spiral where she is doing things to herself, it seems like, to punish herself and also to forget the whatever trauma happened. It says, together, Alice and her friend must face the horrors that happened there, must pull themselves apart from the inside out, put their differences aside, and try to rescue their friend Hannah, whom the house has chosen to make its own. I don't fucking know, like, what that means, but I'm very excited about it. Next is an anthology called That's What I Call Horror, which is such a cute play on multiple things. This is an anthology about 90s horror. It says 14 stories set in the decade of flannel shirts and neon dolphin trapper keepers. That's What I Call Horror features a fat, P-H-A-T, pretty horrific and terrifying collection of totally rad horror and weird fiction are authors exploring the darker side of what many consider a time of relative peace and prosperity. So yeah, this sounds, I mean, I just fucking love like 90s pop culture shit. That is like, probably because that's the decade I grew up in, and I'm such a fucking slut for it. I love it. Anything 90s, I'm like, yes, please, thank you. Then in February is Gothic by Philip Fracassi. I think I also might have an arc of this that I haven't read yet. This is, I think, a haunted artifact book. This is about an author who gets this really cool antique desk from his partner for his birthday. Things start getting strange as he's using his new desk to write. Next in February is Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones. Not much to tell you about this, except for that it's the long-awaited sequel for My Heart is a Chainsaw. This was supposed to come out last year initially, and it got pushed back. So I've just been really anticipating this. I'm gonna have to reread My Heart is a Chainsaw so I can really get into Don't Fear the Reaper. You know how I am. I don't know, it doesn't make sense, but it's just the way I am. Next in February is Sister Maiden Monster by Lucy A. Snyder. This is a post-apocalyptic story, and it says, Sister Maiden Monster is a visceral story set in the aftermath of our planet's disastrous transformation and told through the eyes of 3 women trying to survive the nightmare. To survive, they must evolve. Next in February is Our Share of Night by Mariana Enriquez. This is a translated novel, so this came out originally in 2019, but it is being republished or reprinted in English. This says it's 608 pages. That is fucking bananas. But this is like a really interesting vampire novel, it seems like. This is about a young man and his son. Their wife/mother has recently died, and she came from a clan of vampires, and now this order of vampires are hunting them down. It says, nothing will stop the order, for nothing is beyond them. Next in March is Pinata by Leopoldo Gout. This has been on my radar for like 2 years. It was another one where I think the publishing date got pushed back, and I'm really fucking excited to get to this. The cover is badass, and then like the pitch line is A Head Full of Ghosts meets Hereditary, which is like, yes and yes. Yes, it's a possession story. It's about a woman who is renovating a cathedral, turning it into a boutique hotel. She's there with her teen daughters, and things start to get wonky with the renovations, and she goes back to her home, and only to find that like one of her daughters is acting very strange. So definitely possession. I love a possession. I love the movie Hereditary. I loved A Head Full of Ghosts. I can't fucking wait to read this. Next in March is Monstrilio by Gerardo, Samano, Cordova. This is about a mother whose young son has tragically died. She takes a cutting of his lung and nurtures the lung until it becomes kind of like a living being, and it's growing and it's growing and it's acting badly. This sounds like the exact type of grief-stricken horror that I fucking love. I live for it. It makes me very sad and it makes me feel bad, and I love that for some reason. It's just like my fucking jam. It's just my fucking jam. Okay, next is one that I don't know a whole lot about. I know that I had read about it somewhere and I had like written it down as a book that I want to do for this video, but that was like some months ago, and now I can't find like the description that I once had. But next on my list in April is Neverest by TL Bodie. This is some sort of like horror mountaineering thing, which you guys know I fucking love. Like anything set in the mountains, any sort of like adventure trip or vacation that goes horribly wrong, I fucking love it. So that is Neverest, and that's coming out by Ghost Orchid Press, which I believe is kind of a newer press. I don't think I've read anything by them, but I'm going to read Neverest. Then in April is The Scourge Between Stars by Ness Brown. This is like a sci-fi horror. It says, tense and claustrophobic, set aboard a doomed generation ship harboring something terrible within its walls. So obviously that makes me feel like, you know, like Alien and other space horror movies like that, where they are trying to, or like Pandorum, that one's kind of like that. That has people who are trying to be transported somewhere else. Like they're trying to start a colony, like a colony ship kind of a movie. That's what it reminds me of. That's gotta be what it's like, right? But it sounds good. It sounds creepy. I fucking love that shit. Okay, next on my list in April is The Intruders by Brian Pinkerton. I have some ideas about what this might be. It doesn't come out and say it fully, so I'm just going to read you the synopsis and let me know in the comments, I guess, if you think that this is what I think it is. So it says, the intruders have arrived. Something strange is taking place in the small town of Engels, Indiana. Greg Garrett returns home from a business trip to discover his wife and children have disappeared. More people begin to vanish without a trace. The skies produce a substance that doesn't look like natural rain. Aggressive swarms of insects attack without warning, and late at night, residents are haunted by ghosts desperate to reveal the secrets of their existence but unable to speak. Engels is undergoing a terrifying transformation that could threaten all of civilization. Who is this unseen enemy? What is their mission? Discover the terrifying secrets of the intruders. So that is in April. I think this is like one of my scariest, most favorite tropes, but I'm not exactly sure, but I think it might be. It sounds like it might be, but obviously I'll have to read it. But I'd love to know if you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking. Next is Belith Station, which is a group of 2 novellas, I believe, by Brian Smith and Samantha Koilesnik. You know that if Sam Koilesnik's name is on fucking anything, I'm going to read it. So this is set in the same town, in the same universe. It says, Smith and Koilesnik present 2 sides of the same sordid coin as we follow lovebirds Nick and Krista into the heart of Bellis Station, where corruption and depravity reign. So, I mean, listen, what I'm telling you is that the synopsis doesn't fucking matter to me. What matters is that Koilesnik's name is on this. That's all that matters. I'm going to read it. Then in June, finally, we're to June. The next book is Maeve Fly by CJ Leede. This is about a young woman named Maeve Fly. My sister's name is Maeve. I love that name. Beautiful name. So this is about Maeve, who works, it seems like she might work at Disney World. It says, she works at the happiest place in the world as every child's favorite ice princess. I'm sure they just can't say that because Disney is very litigious. So it says, Maeve haunts dive bars with a drink in one hand and a book in the other, imitating her misanthropic literary heroes. But when her best friend's brother moves to town, it awakens something dangerous in her, and the world she knows suddenly shifts beneath her feet. Untethered, Maeve ditches her discontented act and tries on a new persona, a bolder, bloodier one, inspired by the pages of American Psycho. So, Holy shit, love American Psycho. Love the name Maeve. Love the cover of this book. Holy shit. This one sounds like it's gonna be absolutely fucking deadly. I love it. Also, supposedly in June, this is another one that I wrote down and then couldn't find the fucking, I just need to be screenshotting the description of these. But next is The Only Safe Place Left is the Dark by Warren Wagner. And this is about a man who is HIV positive, and he must leave his cabin in the woods to brave a zombie apocalypse to find the medication he needs to stay alive. So, post-apocalyptic. You know what? I'm ready for some more zombie shit. I feel like we had such a huge influx of that for a while, and it's kind of died down, and you know what? I think it's time maybe for another really good zombie tale. So here we fucking go. Then next on my list, also in June, I guess the rest of these are going to be in June, huh? Is The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. I read her book, The Between, last year. It was bone-chilling, just great. It was great. This is a story that sounds like it's going to be impactful on different levels. Because this takes place in the Jim Crow era. So this is set in 1950 in the South in Florida, and it's about a young man who's sent to a reformatory, which he finds is haunted by the boys who have died there. So it sounds fucking sad and spooky at the same time, which I think might be Tananarive's thing, and she does it well. Okay, this book is probably, I'm gonna say probably more like crime fiction, but I know that there's also a large group of horror readers who've also loved this person's stories. This is S.A. Cosby. I've fucking loved both of his books so much. This is All the Sinners Bleed, and this is a story about Titus Crown, who is the first Black sheriff in the history of the county he works for. A year and a day after his election, a school shooting happens, and a former student shoots and kills a teacher, but it seems that the dead teacher had been abusing the former student, and madness ensues, of course. It sounds like it's going to be another hard-hitting crime thriller, fucking fantastic character sort of thing that Cosby does. If you haven't read S.A. Cosby, I just don't know what to tell you besides that. Like, his books make me want to cry a lot. They're great books. They're hard-hitting. They're fantastically written. He does such a great work with his characters, making them feel so fleshed out and alive. It's crazy. He's so fucking good. Okay, 2 more left. Next on my list is Everything the Darkness Eats by Eric LaRocca. This says, an insidious darkness threatens to devastate a rural New England village when occult forces are conjured, and when bigotry is left unrestrained. So that's all I want to know about this. I don't want to read the whole synopsis. I love Eric LaRocca. Anything that his name is on, kind of like Samantha Coy-Lesnick or S.A. Cosby or numerous other people, Grady, Hendrix, numerous authors on this list. If they've come out with a fucking book, I'm going to read it. And then last but not least, in June, is House of Rot by Danger Slater. This says a psychedelic splatter tale in which a pair of newlyweds move into a haunted apartment and soon find themselves unable to leave. Why can't they leave? I just want to know more about it. It sounds weird. I love it. So those are the 2023 releases between January and June that are on my radar. Like I said at the beginning of this video, let me know if there's anything you'd like to mention, or like even your own fucking book. If you've got a book coming out this year at all, I'd love to know about it. Let me know what you're looking forward to. Let me know if there's anything on this list that you are planning on getting to. I would love to hear. One thing I just want to say is I really encourage people, especially for these indie books, to if you're planning on buying any of these, to buy them directly through the author or the publisher if possible. Amazon doesn't treat its authors well. It doesn't treat its authors well. It doesn't treat its workers well. It doesn't treat the earth very well. It doesn't treat humanity very well. It has ruined probably our economy, and I don't fucking like Amazon anyways. So I'm going to encourage you guys, like I said, to buy from the author, buy from the publisher, buy through a fucking store that like gives more of a shit or even like pretends to give a shit. Not to shame anybody, of course, I fucking get it. Like Amazon is so convenient and sometimes it's cheaper, although it is proven that now that they don't need to use books as a loss leader anymore, typically it's the same price as somewhere like Barnes & Noble or bookshop.org, or, you know, other places like that. So, yeah, that's it. Otherwise, like, check my Linktree for all my stuff, like my Scribd referral, my Libro.fm referral, my code with 5% off for Twisted Retreat, which is a horror book box. I've got my social media shit on there and all that, so check that out. And that's fucking it. Thank you guys so much for watching this long video and being excited about the coming year in horror with me. I can't fucking wait, and I can't wait for 6 months from now when I'm making this video for the second half of the year and we get to talk about all the great books coming out in the second half of the year. I can't fucking wait. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you later. Goodbye.